Hello, I'm Courtney. I play this game now. So I'm bringing us Solar Flare. I'm using the Outsider playbook. She is, appearance-wise, the big thing is that she is literally made of fire. She's just like an approximately human-shaped star. When I say approximately, I mean like she's got the entire shape of a human being down more or less. Her eyes, what was it? The eye options on here. She just got glowing white ones, approximately human shaped, like 6 feet and change tall, very like bulky and beefy and wide built. And she has 4 arms. So like she's almost got it, but not quite. Yeah, big buff lesbian, completely correct. Hair is like something vaguely resembling afro, vaguely resembling a candlestick fire. It's, you know, a situation. So she's a lot. So Solar Flare comes from a set of binary stars that are in orbit between around each other, because that's how binary stars work. And the idea is that you, in general, you are born, quote unquote, because she's literally a star, born and raised on one of these stars. And once you come of age, you get to integrate yourself with like real and proper society on the other star once you have achieved a suitably glorious act and earned your name. Up until the point that you have earned your name, you are essentially interchangeable with every other protostar, adolescent, etc. Individuality and personhood are not assumed where Solar Flare comes from. They are earned and they are taken. So Solar Flare has not yet earned her name. Solar Flare, her hero name, is something that has been given to her maybe by another teammate or maybe just by the media because they had to fucking call her something. But it is not her name. She does not have a name. She is the first of her kind to have come to Earth. There's pressure on her specifically, which doesn't usually happen because protostars are generally interchangeable. There's pressure on her specifically to do something especially grand and glorious. So she's taken the initiative to be the first of her kind to come to Earth in an attempt to do something over the top spectacular and be able to go home and earn her name and a good place in society. That's the where did she come from? Why did she come to Earth? There's that. Why she wants to stay here obviously has not done her suitably glorious thing. There's all sorts of like intergalactic mayhem happening on this planet all the time. It's a really good chance as far as she's concerned to do something, like I said, suitably glorious. She really is. This is not necessarily as far as she has to go to earn her name and her place in society, but she's really pushing to do something especially over the top grand. Why do your people want you to come home? Like I said, there's a little bit of specific pressure on her, which doesn't usually happen. Protostars are generally, she's still a protostar because she is still an adolescent, has not earned her name. You still have to like, despite not being a quote unquote real person, you still like have sapience and do things even when you're on like the daycare star. And the stars are generally kind of militaristic, I guess. And like the equivalent of a general, more or less, has taken notice of the fact that she is really good at what she does. Most of what she does is hit things. And there are and again, doesn't generally happen that a specific protostar is singled out for any reason. So this is already something of a huge deal, at least to her. So this person in particular wants her to do something good enough that they can justify bringing her back and giving her a place right in the militia because they think that she's going to grow into it very well. And that's a big deal for her too. So that's the why do your people want you to come home? It's like this one person, but that's still a huge deal. Those are my backstory questions.
How long have you been here?
I'd like to establish more of the specifics of that when we work on putting the team together, but not that long. I can't imagine she was here for too much longer before time before the team formed up. Like long enough that she's got a general sense of how Earth works, but not so long that she still isn't calling basically every 4-legged animal a dog.
Do you have any ideas for earning your name, or is she just like figuring it out as she goes?
She's mostly just kind of figuring it out as she goes because she's an idiot teenager. So her stars, especially the place she comes from, is pretty militaristic. She's the first of her kind to come to this planet, which is kind of a big deal in and of itself. But because there's so much intergalactic mayhem happening here, where that's not really a thing where she comes from, her star keeps pestering other stars. and doesn't really bother with this grand scale planet thing. And there's not a whole lot of like proper communication. So the fact that like Earth has and fights back alien invasions and they've got like superhero intergalactic bases. That's what the fuck is that? Jesus Christ. So she's out here again, she's an idiot teenager. She's out here like, yeah, something super fucked up is going to happen here. I'm going to punch the shit out of it and it's going to be great.
Moon Harbor is a cesspool of super fucked up shit to deal with. So she's in a great place. Do you have any idea where you're staying on Earth? Like just hanging out?
Figured that would come up when we established the whole team too. She's just she doesn't have a lot in the way of basic biological functions though, including but not limited to sleep. So she doesn't really like need to stay anywhere. But maybe she's just like kicking it at a teammate's house and like eating food she doesn't need out of their fridge all the time. I don't know.
Cass, how understanding is Mom?
I think your mom like offered it initially and was like, yeah, we got room for so many people. Then she's like, oh, you're on fire literally all the time. Like, after set up burn sheets, I think she was like, I'm so sorry, you can't stay here.
Fire literally all the time. So the cool thing about the fact that Solar Flare is literally a star, but also trying to interact with humanity at large, the planet Earth, one of the abilities she has is alien tech, and that includes a set of bracers on all four of her arms, which are in no small part augmented by her, but these help her keep, like, these make sure that she doesn't light literally anything she touches on fire. So she's, like, uncomfortably warm to be around, but as long as her bracers are doing their job, she is not lighting anything on fire or literally blinding anyone that looks at her from this close range like stars do.
You also mentioned on your character sheet that you have a cool spear. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yes, so she does have a cool spear. The weapon itself is super adaptable in that it can switch between forms, and it has a lot of different forms. It switches between them really rapidly. There's a lot of interlocking moving parts that she has a lot of control over. Her favorite form is a spear. It is like about as tall as she is, and she likes to hit and stab things with it. It's fantastic. But like if she spins it in front of her a certain way, it opens up into a shield. And if she pulls the shield apart with both hands, she can twirl them into a pair of chakram. She can click one into the other, and then she's pulling back an arrow made of sunlit fire on the string of a bow. So it goes between different weapons. She vastly prefers fighting with her spear and also punching things. But she has a lot of melee combat and distant combat, but she prefers melee, a lot of combat opportunity with that.
Can I make a suggestion?
I'm listening.
I think that you and I have bunk beds.
Oh my god! Please, that's so good. That's so good. The bracers keep her from like blinding anybody, but the tragic truth is she's still kind of made of fire, so I hope that like you can still sleep with the lights on.
I think that like I have like a hutch inside the room that like when I can't sleep, I like go to bed in the hutch where it's dark.
You can also say that like Cass has the bottom bunk and has like blackout curtains around it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
God, that's so good. I like to imagine there was like a week where they tried to figure out the best configuration of this, or it was like, all right, what if we pile like 20 blankets on you? And she was still too bright, and it was like, this isn't gonna work. I can't live like this.
I like how Chinta is the max of the team with everybody just crashing at his place.
I have a type, apparently.
Yup.
Moon Harbor Extended is part of the Icy New Year Presents network and is produced by Anthony Sheets and TP Huth. Anthony can be found on Twitter at Icy New Year or at icynewyear.com. T is the host of Incubator on Air, a new play podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. She can be found at T Huth Playwright on Twitter or TPHuth94 on Instagram. Days Errant is GM by Elliot Peterson. She can be found at Elliot Ylen on Twitter. Chunta is played by me, Anthony Sheets. Rainer is played by Kaido Kane. Kaido is a Twitch personality and loves their 3 mischievous cats. You can find them at The Versian on Twitter and as Kaidokane on twitch.tv. Solar Flare is played by Courtney. You can find her on Twitter at Adramadam. Velveteen is played by T. Huth. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. The music from this issue is Call to Adventure by Kevin MacLeod. A link to his website and license will be in the show notes. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please leave us a review on iTunes and tell a friend. Word of mouth and 5-star reviews are really the best way for us to keep bringing these stories to more people. If you'd like to support us financially, check us out on patreon.com/moonharborheroes. Supporting us there will give you access to bonus episodes each month. And thanks for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.